All right, so food fatigue. Where was I with my point? Yeah. So for me, I had just done like a recent cut. I'd actually done a pretty big crash diet back in like December, late fall, early winter, essentially, where I had decided, you know what, I'm gonna see how low of body fat I can get down to, and how much I can really get my abs. That was like kind of the big telltale sign. I had always worried about, can I get down to a low enough body fat to bodybuild? And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna just see how low I can get. And I crash dieted. So I lost a ton of weight and a lot of body fat, but I lost a significant amount of my muscle and size, and I kind of just shrank down more than I would have liked to. And so when I was doing those diets, though, all I was eating all the time was like ground turkey and quinoa. And when I tell you I had it for every meal, I had it for practically every meal. And so by now I'm sick of ground turkey. I'm absolutely like it makes my stomach like gurgle when I think about eating ground turkey, and it like honestly it makes me dry heave a little bit just eating the ground turkey. I'm so over it. And so I tried to stomach some ground turkey today actually for lunch right before kind of heading out for the gym. And I really just could not stomach it. It got so bad I had to put it down, and so I couldn't eat it. And I ended up having some yogurt, some oats, and some PB Fit scoop of whey protein as like a pre-workout meal, which isn't really typical for me. Man, I am really bright here. Let me. So, diet fatigue. I guess I'll restart that whole spiel. So, blah 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 blah. I had just talked about diet fatigue. Where did I leave off? That lighting was so terrible, but now it's a lot better. So yeah, no, I had to put down the ground turkey though, and the issue became like I could not stomach it. So like ground turkey for me, I'm very sick of. Last night I actually ended up having to go to the grocery store, like at 10 o'clock, to go get food. I was completely out of everything, breakfast, lunch, dinner, but all they had there was they had no ground chicken, and they didn't have any lean cuts of ground beef that I really wanted, and so I ended up picking up a pound of ground turkey thinking, oh, I can maybe stomach through that. Nope. I've been picking up lean ground chicken as of late. Uh, it's a little better texture-wise and flavor profile than the ground turkey. I'm, oh, my stomach hurts thinking about it like right now. It's like, ugh, I'm so over it. But in terms of dieting, it did get me down very low. So I'll try to, if I remember, post a picture somewhere during this of what I looked like during. Ugh, something hit my windshield. What I looked like during my cut. I looked really shredded, which was great. Like looks wise, I looked fantastic. I was thin. I didn't have as much muscle as I would have liked, but I was definitely like the abs were really showing there. But to get back on topic, today's legs, and going into leg day, not being able to stomach that meal, it's tough because I like to hit legs intense. Um, I like to hit legs with a good amount of carbs already in my system and some protein. However, kind of throwing my meals off with not being able to eat that turkey threw me off for a little bit of a loop. So what I'll end up doing is revisiting that tonight and just trying to stomach it down. I thought hot sauce could cover it. I really did. I thought I could like cover it and conceal it with enough hot sauce that it would trick my brain into thinking, oh, this isn't so bad. I just couldn't, even with the hot sauce, I couldn't stomach it. But we're hitting legs today. Last leg day was a big emphasis on glutes. I feel like there's always a big emphasis on glutes, but I really want to hammer out some of my quads specifically. I got some hack squats today. What else do I have on the docket? I have some hack squats, leg extension, anything else that's super crazy. Nothing else that's like super crazy on the program. I might actually do at the end of the day some sissy squats. I kind of like those to just get a good deep stretch in the quads, especially towards the end of a workout. Oh, and because I skipped out on ab wheel and ended up doing cable crunches, I will be throwing in a little bit of ab wheel work today. Strengthen up that core. And if the standing calf machine isn't broken, I will use that standing calf machine. You know, this is one of the few gyms that I go to that has a standing calf machine. Most of the gyms that I go to, I end up doing standing calf raises on like a leg press. But I definitely prefer the machine where it goes over your shoulders and you do the standing calf raises. Drop down below if there's anything, circling back, drop down below if there's anything that like you guys feel like you get diet fatigue from, that you can't stomach anymore. I got that way with ground turkey. There's a couple other things I feel like. At one point I got really sick of eggs. You know, I was eating eggs every single morning, and like it got to a point where if they were slightly too overcooked, I couldn't eat them. And that got really tough. I'd either have to like put some cheese in there, or it's another situation where I had to like sandwich it, put it on like a sandwich. I couldn't just eat the regular eggs. But I took a long break from eating eggs first thing in the morning actually, and was mostly doing like yogurt and oats and like all this other stuff. But now that I've kind of taken that break from eggs, I've revisited that back in my diet, and I found that it's become more tolerable. So I'm hoping the same thing will happen kind of with the turkey. I will say though, the variation is my own home cooked eggs versus like eggs I would get at a diner. I could stomach those all day. I think it's because they use the oil and the butter with everything. But like my own home cooked eggs, where it's just like a bunch of egg whites and it's very basic and bland. It's more fuel than flavor at that point. I was getting pretty sick of those. Those by the end of the diet were getting pretty gross. The one thing I'm surprised I don't get sick of too much is the ground beef. It's a little hit or miss. I feel like I cycled out enough where it's like I change it in and out of my diet. And I try to keep my diet very like flavorful still, somewhat enjoyable. I definitely need to get back into doing a lot more proper meal prepping, and instead of just not, because it doesn't help me to not meal prep. But I was making stuff like all these like food recipes you'd find on like TikTok for low calorie options. Those are great. Like I found a peanut miso chicken, which I definitely need to make soon. But a lot of the stuff I was just meal prepping with a slow cooker. I'd throw like 3 pounds, 4 pounds of chicken in a slow cooker, and that would be my lunches for the week, and that'd be great. And then making dinner at night, it's easy because you don't have to worry about lunch the next day. So definitely need to get back into meal prepping. And I'd like to meal prep some egg bites. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Starbucks and gotten the little egg white cheddar egg bites that they have there, but the macros on those aren't actually that bad. It's like 200 calories for the 2 of them. So you're looking at like, it might even be a little lower. I think it's like maybe 230, but you're looking at about 115 calories per egg bite, and they're pretty filling. They're pretty small, but they're pretty filling. They're dense. But if I could get like a low calorie version where it's, not really the cheese in there and all that, where I can just pop them in the microwave and they're good to go for breakfast, that might be an absolute game changer. So I think that's one of the things that I'm gonna do. I will cut to this when we get into the gym for leg day. It's gonna be a good leg day. We're gonna get a good pump going. Right. Hamstring curls. Started with hamstring curls. The big movement for today is hack squat. So I do need to get on the hack squat. I don't love how this microphone sits. So we'll see. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, I don't love how this sits, and I might play around with it. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of having it sit down here, but all right, why can't I get this gym pin in? Other things we gotta move around today, but let's get some hamstring curls, and this will be our first working set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. Recovery in between sets is rough. Especially when it's this hot. It's like 87. Chat, I absolutely hate lunges. I guess technically it's split squat. So let's take a look at the quads. Quads are pretty pumped up right now. Let's look at the side leg. side leg and the glute are looking pretty good. Let's look at the behind with the hamstrings. See all three angles and sides of the leg, but pretty solid pump today.